And the total price tag, according to rumours, for this whole junket, Mzwandile, is put at 50 million rand. Has the ANC said anything about that?
Well, Tsepiso, if there's one thing the ANC has been consistent on throughout this campaign, is to refuse to tell us how much they have been spending on this whole celebrations here in Kimberley. So at the moment, it's just speculation. So we have not been able to confirm anything. In fact, when we spoke to the Treasurer General of the ANC yesterday to try really and find out what is it that they are spending, all he told us was that he would account to those who are donors and of course the members of the ANC. As for him sharing with us, absolutely no luck.
Did the Treasurer General at least hint at who may be the ones putting into the coffers the money to be able to put on this display? Especially, you can imagine, as you know, Mzwandile, that they are also hosting foreign dignitaries, leaders from various countries and movements, political parties who are allies.
Yeah, well, of course, there will be a number of people here, and perhaps, Tsepiso, we can also determine, or rather guess, as to who is footing the bill by the number of the people or who will be attending this function. Yes, you're right, there will be other dignitaries from outside. One of those, the Ethiopian Prime Minister, is going to be attending these celebrations. It's not confirmed yet whether he will be part of the dinner tonight, but he is obviously one of those high-profile individuals who have been invited to this occasion to celebrate this 108 years of existence of the governing party. Of course, they always pride themselves as the oldest governing party on the African continent, rather the oldest liberation party on the African continent. And it's going to be very interesting indeed, Tsepiso, to see who is here, who may possibly be funding this whole thing.
So let's talk about this dinner itself, Mzwandile. We heard our colleague Natasha Piri speak to the Treasurer General earlier on about the absence of the President at the Golf Day, saying it's because he's had a really busy schedule, has a lot to prepare for, especially for tonight. This is, of course, preceding the January 8th statement that he's going to deliver tomorrow. What is expected tonight? What is the tone of the event, and how does it, of course, contrast with the message that he'll deliver tomorrow?
Yeah. So what we expect to see happen here at Tsepiso is that the President will not give much in terms of what he's going to say tomorrow, but he will give an indication of where the focus will be, because he would want to say he prefers to first tell the members who will be gathered there insofar as what is it that they as the governing party are preparing going forward. Of course, as you and I know, the January 8th statement basically sets the tone for what this government will do for this year. Because yes, this is a party event, but this is a party which is in power. So those things that they decide should be priorities, so most of the times become the programs of government. So what he will do today is that he will basically give us a sneak preview, just touch on the issues. Of course, we know this country is facing the issue of unemployment. This country is facing the issue of low economic growth. This country is facing the difficulty in service delivery. In fact, that's one of the things South Africans, particularly here in Kimberley, were raising as they were interacting the leadership of the ANC. They were basically saying, we hear you, you've been here, but things are not getting better. What is it that you're going to do better this time round? So it's going to focus really on trying to tackle the issues that are affecting the country, which are well documented. All South Africans know about them.
And this is what I wanted to point to, Mzwandile. We know that the January 8th statement is rotated from province to province, but sometimes it is strategic, the timing. And I'm wondering what would be the importance of bringing this particularly January 8th statement to the Northern Cape as a province, especially in winning over the hearts and minds of South Africans amid all of these challenges that you point out.
Well, you are correct, Tsepi. So it happens on a rotational basis. In fact, this January 8th statement, Tsepiso, was supposed to have happened last year. But because of those strategic reasons you've just spoken about, they decided to take it to KZN. Remember, the issue of the recall of former President Jacob Zuma caused some difficulty within sectors of the ruling party. So what they felt was that perhaps where his biggest support base was or is in KZN needed to be assured that the ANC was determined to push with the program of the ANC. That they had recalled him did not mean that they had shunned him. So as a result, this January 8th statement was taken to Durban. So then they said we will defer Kimberley or Northern Cape to 2020. So that is why they are coming here. So they're very strategic in a number of issues. From here, if you are to follow their rotational system, fortunately, it's a piece, so I know these things because I've been doing quite a number of them. So if they are to follow them now, they are supposed to go to Polokwane next year, or rather Limpopo next year. But if there is an issue perhaps in any other province that needs the attention of the ANC, you are likely to see them move the January 8th because it gives them the opportunity to explain themselves to the people, perhaps to reassure the people that they still remain the party of the masses. South Africans in general have been expressing a number of misgivings because the issue which is at the center of what South Africans want, service delivery, is really lacking. So I think the ANC will be well advised to take this issue quite seriously. I think South Africans are really raising that matter without fear anymore.
All right, thank you very much for that. Mzwandile Mbeje, SABC's political editor, and of course, I'm sure you would know that the Northern Cape at this moment facing severe drought, higher unemployment.